Thank you.
All right, moving on. Sustainable home essentials brand Ecosoul Home has raised $20 million in equity and debt led by Axel and marquee strategic investors. Founded in 2020, the company today has a global footprint across the US, UK, Europe, GCC and India with retail partnerships that include Walmart, Costco and Waitrose. With over 1,000 certified compostable products and 12,000 plus retail touchpoints globally, Ecosoul Home is on a mission to become one of the world's largest fully compostable home essentials brand. To discuss the Series B fundraise and the road ahead, I'm now joined by co-founder and CEO Rahul Singh. Rahul, welcome back to Startup Street. This Series B round is a mix of equity and debt, and you claim to have entered the Soonicorn Club. What is the current valuation of the company, Rahul, and how do you plan to deploy this capital across manufacturing, technology, and expansion?
So, Shruti, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show and be able to share our story. We are right now in the process of flipping the structure from US to India and making India our headquarters. So there are court documents that are filed on both the sides. So we are not publicly discussing the valuations at this point in time. But let's just say we are very firmly within the Soonicorn Club, trying to get to the Unicorn Club within the next couple of years.
All right. And what about the fund deployment plans?
So basically, we have raised $20 million, and this is more of a bridge funding to the structure flip, right? We are already profitable, very solidly profitable, in fact, right? And that's a very proud moment for the company. But there are three major areas we are trying to deploy the funds. First is we are doubling down on Made in India strategy. So about 2 years back, we had only 35% of production come from India. Today is close to 80%, and we are trying to get to 95% India-made products to be sold globally. So that's one of our plans. And the second major expansion plan is geographical expansion, where we are looking at more countries within the Europe and GCC area to expand into.
All right. Like I mentioned earlier, Ecosoul today has over 12,000 retail touchpoints and partnerships with Walmart, Costco and Waitrose. Rahul, what is driving your global acceptance and how do you plan to scale distribution from here?
Shruti, the only thing I would want to add on to that is our e-commerce business is as large as our retail business. Essentially, we are not only selling through all the major retailers of the world. In fact, the only Indian sustainable brand on the shelves of Walmarts and the Targets and the Costcos of the world, right? But a fairly large e-commerce and quick commerce business as well. What is driving our adoption worldwide is essentially three things, right? One is we are the probably the only certified food grade sustainable products company that comes out of India, right? That's number one. Number two, our product innovation. So for example, we are the only company in the world that does bagasse-based toilet paper, kitchen towel roll, facial tissues. So it's a product innovation. And obviously we have been able to really crack the price code. We are basically within 15% of plastic. So I think these are the three things that drives our adoption.
This brings me to my next question. The sustainable home products market, is projected to hit nearly $664 billion by 2034, but affordability has always been a barrier. You mentioned pricing, so tell me, how have you managed to crack the cost equation, pricing within just 5 to 15% of conventional plastics while maintaining quality and scale?
Shruti, I think the formula was very simple and it was hiding in the plain sight. Everybody thought that, hey, the way to get to better pricing is through scale. We actually went the other way around. We actually created micro factories in the areas where the raw material was there. So for example, we have factories in Tumkur and Shimoga and Muzaffarnagar and Sitarganj, right? So we went where the raw material was and we created a vertically integrated supply chain. There are very few manufacturers in India or very few brands in India which manufacture themselves. And our competitiveness comes from the entire vertical integration. We run our own supply chain. It's a very technologically run supply chain, some of the best working capital cycles. And more importantly, we are very close to the source raw material. So that keeps our cost very, very low. So we have micro factory strategy instead of a large manufacturing unit.
Like you mentioned, you've got over 1,000 SKUs spanning tableware, kitchenware, personal hygiene and baby care. Rahul, which categories are seeing the strongest traction globally? If you could quickly tell us that.
So Shruti, all our categories are seeing triple-digit growth, by the way, right? But within that, right, we'll say the personal hygiene and the baby care segment, they are showing like really, really high growth, right? It's more than 250% year on year. So I think that's the categories that we are betting on heavily for the next couple of years.
But triple-digit growth across all your segments is what you're saying. And with this round, Rahul, you've signaled entry into new high-growth segments like chemical-free home cleaning and tree-free paper products. How large is that opportunity, and what's your strategy to win in these markets?
So I think the strategy to win is very, very clear, right? We are a customer focused, customer friend brand first, right? So our firm belief is that nobody wants to consume single use plastic. Nobody wants to consume chemicals. We just have to give them an affordable option to move away from chemical based, cleaning agents and chemical
Sure.
waste, tree based paper. So our goal is to really create those options at an affordable pricing and with a very strong quality consistency. So essentially, that's what we believe will help us win in the market.
Okay.
Not only in India, by the way, we are a very global first company. More than 80% of our
Sure.
revenue comes from outside of India. So we
Absolutely.
create products which are global.
Absolutely. 80% of your revenues come outside from India. But, speaking of competition in sustainable products, it is intensifying with both startups and FMCG giants in the mix. Rahul, what's Ecosoul's moat as you scale globally?
So again, our biggest moat is our vertical integration and the product innovation that we are doing, right? Shruti, we are not afraid of the competition because our real competition is plastics, right? It's a 50-year-old industry with multi-billion-dollar brands that exist globally. And if we have been able to make our mark and get into all the stores, we have been competing with them for the last 5 years now. And we have been competing with them profitably. So what really worries me is our ability to scale faster and reach the customers who want our products and not really the competition.
All right. On that note, it's time for me to wrap up this conversation. Rahul, many thanks for joining us and wish you the very best in your mission of becoming one of the world's largest fully compostable home essentials brand. Thank you so much for your time.
That is made in India. Thank you so much, Shruti. Thanks for having me on the show.